guys, welcome. We are here seated with Ben Jacoby, who is the filmmaker of Bam Bam Runs Fast, a beautiful short documentary for the Valley Film Festival, the 21st Annual Valley Film Festival. Congratulations, Ben, and welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, of course. So why don't you go ahead and just give me a little bit more details about your role in the film and what inspired you to document your world record?
Of course. So first of all, my role in film, I'm the main character. It is a short documentary about my journey from the moment I had the idea of approaching this world record till well, you will see what happened with it in the movie. And being the main character in the film, it required for me to be the actual producer. I directed some of the scenes. I'd say most of the footage we got back in 2018, and then we completed it later on this year. So a lot of it was me being the character and kind of how it looks from a third view. And then some of it was actually me talking to the camera and telling the story.
Mm-hmm. You know, as I was watching the film, first of all, I just want to say thank you for your service as a veteran. Thank you. I can imagine that that was the precursor to you constantly challenging yourself physically and pushing yourself with this race. Can you tell me just a little bit about like what was going through your mind, even though you state some of it in the film, like what was going
Right.
through your mind as you were documenting all of this? Like how did you envision this to be perceived by the audience?
So it really, like I said, it took me a few years till I knew what I want to do with the footage. It was really hard for me, not coming from any film background, knowing how I would like the world to see this. And in fact, most of the people I know, they asked me to make a shorter version, even to what we have now, because it'd be maybe easier to be watched. So I'm kind of, I didn't really plan the way it'll come out. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, approaching and attempting to break a world record, there's all the stress that's around that. Everything has to do with the preparation, especially when it comes to an intensive extreme sport, puts a toll on you, and then everything just starts adding up. And as I grow older, what I found out, when it comes to sports at least, trying not to get injured is as hard, if not harder, than getting, than getting a certain time you're trying to beat.
Yes.
Because a lot of marathon runners or ultra runners, injuries is the toughest part.
Yeah, and it's definitely difficult to recover from. I mean, not to give away any spoilers or anything, but I did remember seeing the film and you had gotten into a minor car accident that actually
Right.
moved your three of your discs out of place. And
Yeah.
can you tell me how that affected you even while shooting this documentary? Like, was there anything that made you a little nervous about whether or not people were going to agree with you actually trying to accomplish this world record, or just how that would impact you?
Right. So getting injured while attempting something else, it's no, there's nothing heroic about it. It's just irresponsible. So especially, if you had control over it. So, if you're preparing for a marathon and you're going skydiving on the weekend and then you have a skydiving accident, that's just irresponsible.
Right.
So that was one of the things. I was fortunate enough back in 2018 when we were filming this, when the record did occur, that I had someone else filming me and kind of, showing what it looks like from someone who's looking from the side.
Okay.
So I wasn't thinking about the film, honestly. For me, I wasn't thinking about the film. I was just, focused on this record that needs to be broken.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. You have that laser focus. So you mentioned that you had someone else helping you. How many people were in your crew that were helping you document this?
So I had my coach, which you see a little bit about him in the video as well. He was more on the training side.
Mhm.
And for the most part, I had one of my best childhood friends who was with me in Australia, and he was kind of with me throughout this whole process. And he came to the United States. He lives in Israel. He came to the United States to document this attempt, and he was with me for 3 weeks.
Oh,
So he
wow.
was the main person. As time went on, and you do see throughout the film that there were other people that I needed to meet me at the attempt to make sure this record would be an actual official valid record.
Yes.
And then also is where, at Burning Man is where my crew kind of joined us, and they were there for additional assistance, whether if it was logistics, whether if it was through camera, video, or whatnot. That was throughout the production period. The post-production, I had a creative director that was helping me kind of, put the story together the way we want it. And he also directed there was you'll see throughout the movie, there's just, interview. I'm being interviewed. And then I had 2 editors on my team as well, and of course a videographer during that time as well. So I'd say when it comes to the filmmaking part, there's more or less 6, 7 people throughout the
Okay.
process.
Oh, that's good to keep it nice and intimate, and they can just stick with you and they come in and out throughout the process. That's good.
Right.
That's good. So let me ask you, what would you say really inspired you to really want to document this? And do you have any other challenges that you want to achieve in the near future athletically?
Yeah. So, I whatever it is that I do throughout my, let's say, my adult life, um, I'm not necessarily sitting there just saying, "Wow, I want to inspire other people. That's my dream." It's not like that. But I do want to show people that, the impossible is possible and doing extraordinary things. And we were brought to this world to change the world. And like I say, to make a dent in it. So I really believe in that. And to a lot of people, the Guinness World Records is this thing that they tried to grasp on. It was this far away thing that only world records get into, holders get into, and they're not like that. But introducing people that, they could do these type of things themselves. And when it comes to inspiration on doing other attempts, so I am attempting, it's not going to happen as planned this London Marathon, but I am attempting to to be the first person to complete a full marathon on spring-loaded stilts.
Whoa.
So that was kind of as a result of, I was meeting someone I met someone at a bar, and it was on the agenda of the record. So I was telling them about the record, and then they were, asking me, "Yeah, you're not the fastest runner, you're the fastest sprinter." I was like,
Hmm.
challenge accepted. I think, yeah, there's something about marathons. It's kind of like more mature. Um, so
Yeah, there is an element to it that just seems more mature, but I don't know if it's because of how inclusive it is to everyone and it's not, specific to any age group or anything.
right. I think it's also, you kind of build. It's something that takes a long time to build. So people kind of do it again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
So that will be one of my next attempts. As for world records per se, I don't know exactly what the future has planned for me. Um, but just anything else when it comes to lifestyle things that are kind of out of the box.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool. Keeps you on your toes. So let me ask you, is there anything that happened behind the scenes? Any stories, any incidents that were funny or that just were significant that you can share?
I mean, every year I've been going to Burning Man for 9 years, and every year on the way to Burning Man, like things go down. Like, it's and you know, I see myself as someone who is good at dealing with stressful situations. And it's just like, you know, the things that happen. First of all, you do see the whole story with Coyote, which is for whoever did see the movie, who will see the movie, it is out of this world how that happened. If that wasn't caught on video, and no matter who told me what, I told them, listen, I have to make an animation of what happened over here,
Yeah.
because it was one of the most interesting things and best experiences of my life. But on the way to Burning Man, there's this time where I think we had, our RV, and we tied to the RV. There was, we were hauling a trailer, and altogether it's like, 50 feet worth of, this vehicle that we were going, and we pulled into there's this we pulled in to this it was like a parking structure, and it showed that there was a sign of that we could dump the gray water of the RV over there. And instead of just like saying, let's go to a proper place or whatever, we decided just like keep going a little bit more, a little bit more. And we found ourselves like in the middle of like this hill where uh, it was like kind of foresty hill area, and our RV was about to flip over, and the trailer was about to flip over on the other side, and we were, there's like 6 of us with a megaphone and trying to plan and taking pieces of wood to make sure
Oh,
this RV doesn't flip over. And there's just a picture where you see people just like looking at this RV. It's literally at a 40, not 45-degree angle, just a little bit less,
tilted over.
tilted over, and everyone's like, yeah, that's what's happening now. And then, yeah, it was just like one of those moments like, did we really have to go off track? This is like the type of thing that you need, not a four-wheeler. You need a tractor to go through there. Like, you need a serious off-road vehicle. And we're there with our 50-foot vehicle. So I think that was like one of the moments that was just like, this was not necessary.
Right. We're going off schedule here. Yeah.
Exactly. In the wrong time.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad you guys were able to get past that and continue with your journey. Let me ask you, what was the most difficult scene? Well, I can't really say scene, but what was the most difficult moment to shoot for you or to document? Is there anything that you didn't want to share in the documentary at all that you ended up keeping?
Well, I wouldn't say in this interview if I would want to share. No, just kidding.
Oh,
Um, no, I don't think so. I mean, there's always, especially as the main, character, there's always those moments where like, that has to be in there, and that has to be in there, and that has to be in there. So there's always, there's so many elements of a story that we're not told, for whoever experienced them firsthand. And it's hard, it's just hard to give up. So I think, just throughout the training, um, I think we did put in there a lot of what we had in the training, but it still wasn't, I've trained for 3 months, and I went up from an amateur, maybe I could run fast, to, 7 days a week sprinter. So that's something that, some of the story, you could always add more and more and more into it, I guess.
yeah, that's true. So let me ask you, I know you touched on it a little bit earlier, but what is the biggest takeaway that you want the audience to get from watching your documentary short?
So first of all, audience who are not necessarily filmmakers, I would like you guys to know that anyone can, be his own filmmaker, whether if the film is accepted into festivals, wins awards or not. With the world we have now and all the tools we have, and globalization and just working with the cloud, anyone could do these type of things. I have not sat in a room with anyone on the team, aside from the actual video taking. So a lot of this was just done different places. And I found a lot when it comes to filmmaking is that the process in the beginning was kind of daunting, actually became a really big pleasure of creating something out of nothing and, wrapping it in the way that you want the world to see it. And so I learned a lot from that. And maybe to some people, I maybe consider some sort of filmmaker now.
Yeah,
Um,
honestly, you are.
yeah, so that was nice. And I really mean it when it comes to coming to this world to make a change in it. And the worst thing I could think about is looking back and telling myself I could have tried more, I could have done more, I could have experienced more, you know, what was I waiting for? And I always see, you see older people that are kind of like, they don't care as much of what they look like or what people think of them. They're just enjoying their life and doing what they can with the time they have left. So I think that's what we can learn as well. While we're young, we're energetic, resourceful, we have the tools, less commitments, maybe.
Mhm.
This is our time.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful message and inspirational for a lot of people who are either resting on their laurels or unsure of doing something. So, what's next for Bam Bam Runs Fast?
So Batman Runs Fast, in terms of the movie, so it is a world record and it is a movie. So it's what's interesting as the attempt itself. I was recently featured on Ripley's Believe It or Not, the museum.
Yes.
So they just came out with a new book called Out of the Box, and my record was featured over there. So it's kind of nice on how the waves just keep going and people keep picking up on it and whatnot. And that's kind of happening. It's just in the ongoing. In terms of the movie itself, I think I'm still yet to know how this journey will go. I was in one festival, which is a Black Rock City Festival. I won one of the awards over there, which was nice. It was my first festival. I think it's beginner's luck.
Oh,
Uh,
congrats.
Thank you. Then I have this one, and I'll see. I hope people will enjoy the movie. They'll enjoy the video. They'll enjoy seeing what they saw. They'd like to be part of it more. I'm here in Los Angeles. I love collaborating with people. I see myself as a very open-minded person. So anyone who's watching this, feel free to just hop over to my website. There's a contact form over there. It's kind of crazy because there's a drop down and there's no call to action. We're not trying to sell anything. It's just
Okay.
it's a drop down and it asks like, you want more? Yes. And it just says like of what and whether if it is getting involved in extreme sports, world records, if it is other things that I do, even, within my businesses. I'd love to get to know more people and, you know, build a community.
Yeah. And on that note, how can we continue to support you or follow the film or follow you in all your other endeavors?
Right. So aside from my website, obviously, I'm on social media. I think pretty much any social media, you just type in the Ben Jacoby, then you'll find me. If you type in on YouTube, most of what you'll find on the first page is probably me as well. And just on Google. So, that it will work either way. My YouTube channel is semi-active. So every month or so, I'd upload some other journey or whatnot. So that's where you can find me. And of course, at the Valley Film Festival.
Yes, of course. Well, thank you so much, Ben. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing your film with us and sharing your journey and your art with us, because it is a precious thing and we want to treat it with so much care and honor. So thank you for accomplishing this, as well as accomplishing that world record. And we ask that, guys, if you want to watch the film, just look at the details below on this video and click the link. Okay, guys, we appreciate your support. Thank you again, Ben.
Thank you, Phylicia.